But we got Masta Ace on the phone lines right now. We're going to plug him in. Is this Masta Ace?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, Ace.
What's going on, Masta Ace?
Yeah, welcome to Hype
What's up,
City,
fellas?
man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
No, we thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I know you were just touring Europe, right?
Yeah, just came back end of May.
Okay, how was that tour?
It was great, man. We had some really great venues, really great turnouts, really great crowds. The love was incredible. It was a good tour.
So we were just talking about waiting for you to call in. I mean, not that you called in late or anything, but we were just killing some time talking about just how fantastic of a career you've had. And one of the questions I have for you that I've been dying to ask you ever since I knew you were coming on the show, I'm going to ask you now. Is your pen really sharp as a dagger? Do you walk with a swagger? And would you really tie my wife to the back of a black Jag and drag her?
I guess that's one of your favorites of mine or something, that verse.
Yeah, I love that verse, man. Hellbound. Yeah, that's my shit.
Yeah, that was a great moment, for me, just because I was kind of still at that point where I wasn't sure if I was going to do music anymore. So, come up with that verse, and be on the record. At the time, M really wasn't even a big artist yet. He was just kind of starting to pop off.
Right.
And so it was just a cool situation to be in.
Was that recorded in like 97, 98, around that time?
That's a good question. I wasn't really there when they did I wasn't part of that. Like, they had recorded him much earlier though.
Right.
Before his career jumped off, and I never really got the full story on when it was done, but I know that it was done before he got his record deal, before he met Dr. Dre.
Okay. Yeah, because and the one thing that I thought was funny is when I first listened to it, because I had that album, the Game, I think it was called Game Over.
Yeah.
I had that album. I had that CD. You had to go searching through Sam Goody to find it, and it was kind of hard to get a hold of, but it was a fantastic album, and your part is one of my favorite parts on that album. And
thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I thought how striking the similarities were between your rhyme structure and your cadence and the sound of your voice was with Eminem's at that time. So you could really tell that Eminem, I wouldn't say was biting your style, but he was definitely influenced by you.
I think the influence goes both ways. I feel like, you got to remember, I got that track. His verse was already on it.
Okay.
So as I'm listening to the verse, I have to make sure that whatever I do kind of matches what's going on and it makes sense together. So, to be fair, his verse was already completed and done and laid down, and then I wrote mine just to kind of be in that same realm of where he was in and what he was talking about.
And you started rapping really young. Were you still in high school when you did the symphony?
Nah, heck no. I'd graduated from college when I.
Oh, did you? Okay, I wasn't exactly sure of the timeline.
Yeah, the same year that I graduated from college was the same year that I recorded the symphony.
When you were recording your lines for that, did you have any idea you were about to be a part of one of the greatest songs in hip hop history?
No, not at all, because that wasn't actually the plan. My verse wasn't supposed to even be kept. It was
wow.
It was really just supposed to be a warm up verse to get the rest of the guys loosened up to go in the booth and do their parts.
That's crazy.
And I don't think initially that Marley had any intention on keeping my verse. But when he heard it, next to the rest of the verses, it kind of fit. And from what I hear, and this is something I didn't know until recently, I guess Big Daddy Kane and Cool G Rap kind of pulled Marley to the side and were like, "Yo, son is kind of nice. Yo, I think you should keep him on the song."
Wow!
And so they actually gave a vote of approval, and that probably tipped the scales and let him keep my verse.
Wow! Now, do you do the same thing for younger rappers these days? I mean, you're kind of like a godfather, a living legend. I mean, I can go on with the euphemisms for what you are to the hip hop community now. Do you do the same thing? Like put your blessing on certain verses? Like, nah, let's keep this kid, or let's let this dude ride on the track, or how's that work?
I mean, I definitely, when I hear some talent, I definitely try to big it up and if an opportunity is there to give, I try to give it. You know, Pearl Gates is a fairly new cat that not that many people know about. But you know, he was featured on the EMC album, and then, you know, I thought he was just so talented with what he did that I asked him to write some hooks for me on my album, because I think he's a real talented writer, and for that, you know, he's a part of my newest album. So that's just one example, but you know, there's a lot of other examples where I hear a cat and I just, this kid is ill, and you know, if I can figure out a way to fit him into what I'm doing, I'll definitely do that.
Word. Hey, Masta Ace, this is Jersey Gliss talking to you. I wanted to ask you a question. How'd you link up with your old drog for that track? We just played it. What was it? The
3000 AvX.
Yeah. Your old Droog was I met him through Marco Polo.
Okay.
And DJ Skiz.
Oh, okay.
They at the time they were working on music. DJ Skiz was actually his DJ.
Right.
He was about to do his first show in New York City. Nobody really knew much about him, and there was like rumors that he was Nas. Many people thought that he was actually Nas because his voice is so similar.
We were saying that.
That's just crazy. We were just saying that. It was like, yo, he sounds like Nas.
Yo, no, it was like a huge thing. It was like an internet sensation where you had people like actually doing video blogs, giving you proof and reasons why it was Nas, like actually breaking down the lyrics, breaking down stuff that he was saying, and because nobody knew what he looked like, so he had been kind of riding that wave of nobody knows what I look like, and I'm gonna keep it like that.
Wow.
But now he was about to do his first show in New York, so they wanted me to come through and just kind of give him some guidance on how to put a show together. So that's how I met him. I had never heard of him. I'd never heard his music. And then I sat down with him at the session, and I was like, yo, this kid is good. I like this kid. He does sound like Nas, but he doesn't rhyme like Nas. I felt like the voice texture was real similar, but
right.
I didn't feel like he was like going out of his way to try to sound like Nas. And so I just, I took a liking to him based on that. He's a real humble dude, and he he definitely took the things that I was showing him in terms of putting the show together and took those things to heart. And so when the time came to do the record, I reached out, and he was, happy to jump on it.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask you also, do you still speak to any members of the Juice Crew? Do you, have you still talk to them? Do y'all maybe, because, like, really, I only know, like, maybe you still rhyming, maybe Cool G rap here and there, but is anybody else still rhyming from the Juice Crew like you are?
Yeah, Craig G just dropped the album.
Craig G? Okay.
Craig G just dropped the album. Me and him talk all the time. We text mostly, but, Craig was somebody, he was the first member of the crew that I actually met and got cool with.
Okay.
So, me and Craig stay in touch. Me and Big Daddy Kane are in touch, too. We text sometimes. We send each other messages on the social media and stuff like that. But if I need to get at him, I can call him. Like, if he'll pick the phone up for me.
That's dope.
Bismarcky. I would say I'm in touch with Biz, but he changes his number just about every freaking. I don't even know how. So often that it's hard for me to say. Yeah, I'm in touch with Biz because he's always changing his number.
Okay.
But Biz is another dude that when I see him, we chop it up. He's a good dude. We actually had a show together last summer in Brooklyn, which was pretty dope.
Oh, okay.
The show was titled "Me and the Biz," and
you have a
headline.
You have a track called "Me and the Biz," don't you?
Yeah. So that's why they called the show that.
Right.
And it was me and Biz were the two acts on the show. We performed in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. It was a dope night.
Word.
And tell me a little bit about that track now that we're talking about Biz, because that was a pretty creative track when it came out at the time. It's still a creative track, but it was pretty ahead of its time for you to rap like Biz Markie. And could you tell me a little bit about how you were inspired by that?
Well, the track was actually supposed to be a duet with me and Biz on it.
Okay.
That was the original purpose of the song. So at the time, you know, Big Daddy Kane was writing a lot of his rhymes. And so I figured, you know, I could definitely write Biz's verses in his style, because I understood what his style was. So I wrote his verses. I laid his verses down because it was explained to me that that's how Kane always did it. He would you know, record the verse, and then Biz would copy what he recorded. So that was kind of the way it was explained to me. So I laid the verses down, you know, with his parts, with my parts, and then I laid his parts. But of course, I had to change my voice a little bit so that he would know when he rhymes and when I rhymes. So that was why I changed my voice. It just so happened that him and Marley were having a little bit of a misunderstanding at the time, and he didn't want to come to Marley's studio. Like, he was kind of mad at Marley for whatever reason, and so he's like, you know, I'll be on the song, but only if, you know, you come and re-record it at my crib. And Marley was like, nah, we're not doing that. And so Marley kind of vetoed that idea. And then plan B was, all right, well, why don't we just leave it how it is? And that's how that's how it became this song with me impersonating Big Marquis.
That's hilarious. So basically, it was like a reference track that eventually that got released as a full track.
Exactly.
That's fucking amazing. I did not know that. Gliss, you had another question?
Yeah, Masta Ace, I just wanted to ask last question. I wanted to ask, how do you keep relevant? You know, you've been doing this for so long. Like, how do you just, like, switch with the times? Because, you know, music done changed since you started doing music. So how do you, like, keep relevant to the young artists, a young audience, and, you know, keep them like, yo, you know, saying I'm Masta Ace, like, you know, all the music that you done made, like, how do you keep it relevant to keep going?
Well, relevance is really something that other people decide.
Right.
I just have tried to do music that I felt like was true to who I was, and that was honest music and good. And that was, you know, my goal was to just do good music that was honest and true to who I was. It just so happened that music resonated with younger fans. You know, Disposable Arts was really the first moment in my career that I found this new legion of fans that were feeling me. And then I dropped Long Hot Summer, and then there was a whole new legion of fans that were feeling me. And so it's just been, you know, it's not something that you can take lightly. The fact that, you know, new young fans know who you are, like, that's like a big deal for somebody who's been in the business as long as I am. Yeah. But it's just a testament to the type of music that I've been putting out, and I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate, because not everybody gets that opportunity.
Exactly. That means you're doing something good, though. Because, I mean, you know, most people that have been doing it as long as you ain't even really making no music. So, like, and young people can say, "Yo, yeah, we fuck with Masta Ace." Like, you know, it's crazy because some people wasn't even born when you was doing this. Like,
absolutely, crazy. Man. I did an in-store at this skateboard shop in L.A. A couple months ago in April, and it had to be about 50 people showed up at the in-store, and out of those 50 people, more than half of them were kids between the ages of 17 and 21.
That's crazy.
And
man, that's
I was blown away by that, because I'm like, y'all actually know who I am? Yeah, of course.
Because that's what I was saying to, you know, everybody here. I said, man, the first time I heard Masta Ace was like on the skate video. I used to skateboard back in the day, and I was like, I remember a 411 with, you know, it had Masta Ace on it. I was like, damn. I was like, and that was so long ago, you know what I mean? So that's crazy.
Yeah, and you touched on Disposable Arts, and you said how that introduced like a whole new legion of hip-hop fans to Masta Ace. I'm one of those fans. I got that Disposable Arts CD. I remember when it came out. That was, I believe, 2001, and I bumped that in my ride probably for a good year. I think I listened to that whole CD over and over again. I thought every single song was amazing.
Thank you, man. That's what's up. That's a great thing. That I was fortunate in that way that there were people like you that really didn't know who I was before then, and then heard that album, and all of a sudden were rocking with me. And it's really by virtue of that album that I've been able to extend my career for as long as I have.
How did you come up with the concept for that album? Because it was a pretty interesting concept where you go through like this school that you made up, kind of like a I guess one of the questions I have for you is you rhyme a lot about football and education, right? I mean, those are two big subjects in your content. Is it fair to say that your childhood and your time spent as a youth kind of informs what your content is?
Well, it became that when it was time for me to do, when I started working on Disposable, that was when I said, well, if this is going to really be the end of the career, I want to make sure that I'm saying the things that I want to say and I'm going out on my own terms. And so that was when I decided to, put that album together the way I did, which kind of speaks about, me going away to college. That's what it's really talking about, but it's more fictional.
Right.
But it was my way of expressing myself and giving a glimpse into who I am as a person, and that was why I put it together that way.
And what inspired you to go back to school for the falling season?
I feel like there was still another kind of chapter that wasn't really told, and it was an important chapter. Growing up in Brownsville, Brooklyn wasn't easy. The neighborhood was definitely a rough neighborhood and a difficult neighborhood to navigate your way through. And I was just proud that I was able to do that and wanted people to kind of hear my story and find out how I was what I went through to get through that situation. And just basically show people that I was proud of that. The other reason I went back to high school is because it takes me back to a time when my mom and grandmother were still living, and it gives me an opportunity to kind of relive those days as I'm working on an album and talk about those times and reference my mother and reference my grandmother in the lyrics and in the skits and things like that. So that's a big part of it too.
In Young Black Intelligent, which I think is a phenomenal track, by the way, you say penny for your thoughts, a nickel for your dreams, a dime for your goals, and a quarter in your jeans. Trying to make $1 out of 41 cents, caught up in the barbed wire, shorty on the fence. Now, the track details what life was like for you as an intelligent young black man and the hurdles you had to overcome. My question is, do you see parallels in your struggle as a youth in the black youths of today?
I see them without even realizing it. When that song came out, before the video even came out, the song was just out, and I got hit up on Instagram by a young man who he's 18 years old. He's in high school. He said matter of fact, he was 16. I'm sorry, he was 16. He's in high school. He said I just heard your song, Young Black Intelligent, and it inspired me to write a reaction paper. So he said he wrote the reaction paper and he showed it to his teacher. And then his teacher emailed me, and I said, why don't you have the whole class write reaction papers? So he played the song for the class, and they all wrote reaction papers. And
wow.
I'm probably going to go and visit that teacher and student there in Philadelphia. I'm going to go visit them during the summer. It's amazing. This is resonating with a lot more younger people than I realized that it would, and I'm glad that that's taking place, because I think the message is something that young people, can take something from.
Right. I had a question for you, Masta Ace, if you have some time still. I noticed you did a lot of work with Lord Finesse, and I took a listen to one of your tracks, Open Mic Season Part 1.
Open Mic Season Part 1. I have to... Go ahead, finish the question.
Okay. What was it like working with him?
I'm not sure what song you're referencing, but
just in general, Masta Ace, Lord Finesse working with him.
Well, I don't know if me and Finesse actually ever did music together, but I've known Finesse for a very long time. We go way back to the New Music Seminar. That's actually how I met him.
Oh.
We were both in the battle at the New Music Seminar. We didn't battle each other, but the guy that I lost to, Finesse, actually battled in the finals.
Okay.
And so, you know, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Finesse beat him, and you know, it was almost like, yo, that was for you, you know, because I had lost to the kid or whatever. But
That's awesome.
me and Finesse go way back. We go way back. And you know, I was at his video for Mr. Funky Man. I was at that video, and we shot it at this club called the Castle in the Bronx. So me and Finesse go way back. As far as actually going to the studio doing specific music, I don't recall. And the song you're talking about must be a song that producers just put us both on the same record, because I'm not sure about that song.
Yeah, possibly. Okay. All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah, do you ever, I mean, you've been doing this in, not for 4 decades, but within 4 decades. You know, you started in the late 80s, now, you know, we're in the 2010s. I mean, do you ever forget some of the tracks that you've done? I mean, your catalog is pretty thick right now. I mean, do you put your shows together just based on the songs that you remember right now? I mean, how many songs do you have?
I typically remember the songs that I perform a lot.
Right.
But there's certain records that I've never really performed live before, and those songs I'm going to have difficulty with because, you know, I don't have practice doing them.
Right.
But for the most part, if I was able to sit down with the song and listen to it for 10 or 15 minutes, I could figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice, man.
Masta Ace, I just wanted to know, is Born to Roll in one of those set lists?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Born to Roll is one of those records that I have to do.
Okay.
You know, every artist has a couple of records that they absolutely have to do, or the fans will go crazy, and that's one of them.
Now, how you feel about the Crooklyn Dodgers? How about that song?
I thought it was a great song. I thought it was a great collaboration.
Yeah, that's the joint.
I thought that you know, the track that Q-Tip and Ali Shaheed put forth for that track was incredible. I'm forever grateful for Q-Tip, you know, even asking me to be on the song, and for Spike Lee allowing me to be one of the MCs on the record. It was a historic moment in my career and a historic record for hip hop.
Nice, man. Nice.
So, like I said, Ace, what do people call you? They call you Mr. Ace, Masta Ace, they call you Masta, just Ace? Just Ace? All right. I feel like I should call you Mr. Ace because you're such a hip hop luminary. Feel like
no need, brother. I'm just regular old Ace, man.
All right. So you've been doing this for within the span of 4 decades. And you probably get asked this before, but I need to know, you know, coming from your perspective, what do you think about the current state of hip hop right now?
I mean, the current state is okay. There's music out there, and I know, you know, if you're into kind of the more pure hip hop, the boom bap era, you know, there's going to be music out there that concerns you, or that annoys you, or that makes you, you know, feel discouraged. But there's good music out there. There's artists out there doing dope stuff, from the Kendrick Lamars to the J. Cole's, to the Joey Badasses, to the Jordan Lucases. There's dudes out there writing ill lyrics and doing dope songs. Big Sean is another guy to me that's dope.
Me too.
There's still lyrical dudes out there. Of course, not every record that you're going to hear on the radio and that you're going to hear in the club is going to be, you know, of that same level. But hip hop has always had corny music along with the good music.
Yes, it has.
People talk about the golden age and the 90s and all of that kind of stuff. There was whack rappers in the 90s too.
That's true.
There was whack songs in the 90s. I remember when PM Dawn came out.
Wow.
Like most hip hop heads hated PM Dawn. They were like, "This is garbage."
Yeah.
You know, so it always existed. It's not like this is some new phenomenon. You know, there's always going to be a certain brand of hip hop or brand of rap music that just doesn't resonate with the pure heads like us. And that's just what it is. You know, that music is made for the popular audience, the pop audience, the audience that listens to hip hop in a real casual way, but they don't really get invested in it in terms of the feeling of it and to the soul of it. They just want to dance. They just want to go to the club, have several drinks, dance with cute girls or cute guys, and have a good time and go home and get laid or whatever. They don't care anything about, lyricism. They don't want to hear no lyrics. They just want to hear a catchy hook that they can sing along to,
Right.
and that they can dance to, and that's what it is. Once you just accept that that's always going to be a part of, this music, this culture, then it doesn't bother you as much.
Yeah, and I think in a way that's how hip-hop started. It started with a feeling. It didn't start off with pure lyricism. There was some sort of feeling there, some aesthetic there that got people moving, that got people into the beat, made them want to dance, made them want to act outside of themselves. It wasn't, pure lyricism when it first started. It's something that's something that hip-hop evolved into, taking parts of poetry and embedding it into its style. And then I would say in the late 80s, early 90s, that's when pure lyricism really started to come into the picture.
Exactly.
Yeah, Rapper's Delight was the first hit record, hip hop record, and that was a party record.
Right.
That was a straight party record that you danced to.
Mm-hmm. Now, at this stage of your career, and how much longer do you want to continue doing this, Masta Ace? Ace, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an album with Marco Polo next year.
Okay.
And then after that, I can't really give you any kind of. I can't tell you anything beyond that. I know I'm doing that. I can't tell you I'm doing anything beyond that, though.
Do you feel like
I have other things I want to do?
Do you feel like you still have anything to prove in the hip hop genre? I mean, you've done just about everything.
Absolutely, I'm still trying to prove myself. Every time I write a verse, lay a verse in a song, I'm trying to prove myself. With this album, I'm still trying to prove myself. So, when you feel your whole career like you kind of overlooked, kind of a second thought in most people's eyes, it kind of puts a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, and it just gives you a little bit more determination to try to do the best music you can do. And that status of kind of being underrated and overlooked is what's allowed me, I think, to keep doing it at a high level.
So you still got that fire in your belly, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
So I like to end interviews with a hypothetical, so I just want you to take this journey with me, Ace. And I'm going to present you with this hypothetical. So you're at your final resting place. The music is done. Your career, as phenomenal as it was, has ended. And you're ready to move on to that great big stage in the sky or cipher in the sky, what would have you. As you lay there, an angel appears and says, Ace, first of all, I love disposable arts. Secondly, you have 4 decades of hip-hop knowledge in your being. As you pass on to the afterlife, I'll take your knowledge and wisdom and gift it to 3 young rappers of your choosing. These rappers will not obtain your skill, but just your knowledge of the game. Who do you pick?
That's a good question. Really good.
It always gets.
I picked Joyner Lucas.
Yeah, he's good.
I picked Big Sean. And good question.
Third one got you thinking, right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think about, the young up and comers that's doing it. I'll go with my man Torre.
Okay.
Yeah, Torre, he's hot.
Well, thank you, Masta Ace, for taking time out of your schedule again. We appreciate you stopping by the Hype City show. And I just want to tell everybody to get the Fallen Season. It's on iTunes and Bandcamp. Is it on Amazon as well?
Amazon as well.
Okay, and so iTunes, Bandcamp, Amazon, go on MastaAce.com. You can check out all his links there for his new album. 24 tracks. And do you have a thing with the 24 tracks? Because I noticed Disposable Art had 24 tracks, too.
That absolutely wasn't on purpose. It's just how the skit's laid out. But I just wanted to say that we have physical CDs out as well. You can get those at UGHH, undergroundhiphop.com. And the vinyl and the cassette will be out July 1st. So that's right around the corner.
Okay, that's awesome that you got a cassette coming out. You got any shows coming out that you want to plug real quick?
Not locally, but I am going to be back in Europe at the end of July doing the festival season.
Okay.
We got Hip Hop Camp coming up in August. We got the Alpha Fame Festival coming up in July and a couple other festivals, just doing the festival circuit.
Hey, when you come by Philly, we're only hop, skip, and a jump away from Philly. We'd love to have you in the studio and come July when you coming around our neck of the woods.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be out there this summer at some point.
Yeah, let's stay in
That'd be
touch,
cool.
man. We'd love to have you come by the studio.
Definitely.
Sure thing.
All right, man. Big round of applause for Masta Ace.
Yeah. Give it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ace. Take it easy, brother.
Join the online revolution now and spread the word. Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic.